and that will let us know who's going, or you can just unmute your mic. Amy,
Hi,
you're up.
Walter. Yes, I have a question. So is it okay to have two different strategies to get to my goal, or should I really be focusing on just one thing to get me to that point that I'm looking to get to?
Great question. If you're a solopreneur, one strategy. If you have a partner, you could do two, but it may be more powerful to have both of you on the same one. I would choose the strategy that is most easy for you to get into today and is most powerful, but have the other one written down and ready to go. Because if you identify that this one's not working, you want to be able to shift over to one that does work.
Okay.
Or once this one is done very well, you want to now take on a partner to do that other one. Do you want to go into specific strategies? Would be interested. Hans Cameron would be interested to find out what strategy she's referring to. I think that some qualifying information might help me make a better choice.
So I feel like they kind of go in line. So I think I could do both at the same time. So obviously one of my goals is to help others on their path to becoming a millionaire, but also, getting into wholesaling and helping investors in the community find deals.
Oh, excellent. So you can build millionaires through helping them find deals. You can absolutely have two strategies kind of be together. So your millionaire path consulting can also line people up to, get access to deals, right? You can connect them to people who have deals. Yeah, absolutely. So some things are symbiotic. They're not really two different ideas. They're symbiotic ideas. They're additions to what's already working. That's a perfect example. Absolutely. Let's give Amy a round of applause. I love that. Hell yeah. Urban, go ahead, brother.
Before I ask my question, I'm just gonna give you a little update and a little thank you. So after, some of our conversations, I ended up finding a company that I'm going through with right now. So I'll have my first, I'm gonna be looking at revising the ghostwriter once they have 2,500 pages and 7,500 words on the 29th. So I just want to thank you for that. Now I'm working on those other aspects too. But now with my question, so how do you fight that voice in your subconscious that's going against that belief and that person you're trying to be, once you have that purpose set?
And now that voice, what is that voice saying, Thurbin?
I guess it says this feels wrong. This doesn't make any sense. What you're trying to do, you don't have the answers. I think that's the voice I hear a lot.
I'm gonna pass this off to Dr. Terry Wager, because I believe if there was somebody qualified to talk about what those voices in our head are saying and what power they have over us, it would be Dr. Terry Wager. Dr. Terry?
Yeah, you're talking about fear versus faith. If you have a plan, if you've created a plan and you're working that plan, your head's always going to tell you that it's not going to work, that there's going to be problems. And a lot of that is us looking for what problems might be. But what happens is a lot of times our ego is so fast, it removes that this might be a problem. And all of a sudden we think it is and we can't do it, instead of the reality of the sentence being, there might be a problem here. We're like, no, there's a problem. We got to stop. And so if we give into that voice, we end up stopping all the time. And this is where you see people hesitating, whether they're getting into a deal or they're trying to start a new venture or whatever. The voice is always going to come up with what's going to get in the way. And for everybody on this call, the reality is you're not where you want to be because you're listening too much to that voice. And so when you have a plan and you're working your plan, the plan is a fact and the voice is coming from our emotions. And so we got to quit taking our own bad advice. We got to stop listening to ourselves. And we got to work our plan no matter what. And when we work our plan, we start to get the results. And so I always talk about explore, experiment, and experience. What's happening most of the time is we stop exploring and we start listening to the voice and we just stop do what the voice says. It says, don't do it. It always says, don't do it. It's weird that voice doesn't pop up and go, hey, do more. You got to actually confront it in a loving way, not fighting with it, but in a loving way. Okay, I appreciate you don't think we can do it. Let's do the experiment and let's experience what happens and then adjust from there. So go into the danger, take the action, see what happens, and you're going to see a whole different outcome.
Thank you.
Let's give Thurbin a round of applause. Great question. And Dr. Terry Wager, great answer. Kim Rodriguez, I saw your hand up.
Thank you, Walter. That is a great question, a great answer, Terry. And I think no matter how long you're doing anything, do people still have doubts? Do they still get that anxiety? Do they still think, I know you got to get out of your head, but when it comes up again, why does it keep coming up again?
That's a great question. And I got to say that August 5th, 6th, and 7th, Generator Business Bootcamp, we're going to spend a whole day talking about this very thing. It's inner game. And the reality is our doubt is always going to be a part of us because we have that part of us that's always looking to keep us safe. And so we're always going to have some of that doubt. And the reality of that doubt is it doesn't mean we can't move forward. It means that's where we actually get our energy from. And a lot of times people interpret, we talked about a lot of times over the last 3 years, that people interpret anxiety as anxiety instead of excitement. And it's the same feeling, but our head and our protector is going to change excitement feeling into fear because of our past stories. We're
So what
always
you're
looking
saying
for
is that
pothole.
feeling never goes away. You just redirect it, which it's okay
Exactly.
to redirect it because I'm expecting the feeling to change and I keep redirecting it, but I'm
And
expecting it to feel a little bit different.
here's the funny thing. That's the voice actually telling you that when we've conquered, it's going to go away.
Yeah.
And so then we never really able to conquer it and we never think we're going to, but it's never going to go away. It's kind of like our ego is our spacesuit. We need it for the journey. When we understand that that voice is always going to be there, it's not the voice of reason. Well, I guess it is the voice of reason if you think about it. It's the voice of reason, but our reasoning always stops us from being unreasonable and moving forward faster or moving forward more powerful, because it's in that experimental phase that we actually get the growth.